Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background, and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy: How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is about the romantic compatibility between INTJs and ESFJs. But before we dive into this topic, I would like to underline something about my book. It is written from a health science point of view, so we'll be looking at the anatomy, physiology, brain ornaments, and so forth of the 16 MBTI personality types. And based on this information, you can determine your own type. And based on that, since I do advocate that like attract like, you can determine who's the best match for you in terms of romantic partner long term. So let's go back to the topic at hand. What do INTJs and ESFJs have in common? Obviously, they're both judgers. So these are people who are reliable, reachable, organized, these people who don't like surprise at the last minute. So they will appreciate that about each other. So in other words, they can rely on that partner in their time of need. But obviously, they're going to face a number of challenges. The first one is the fact that one is a thinker and the other one is a feeler. In the case of the INTJ, they are extroverted thinkers. So these are people who are very left brain dominant. So they don't really fare well in relationships. So they have a hard time understanding their own emotion, let alone another person. So if you look at their function stack, their first function is introverted intuition, and their second function is extrovert thinking. So that again is going to be a challenge when they're dealing with someone like the ESFJ, because when you look at their function stack, they have extroverted feeling as their first function and introverted sensing as their second function. So for the ESFJ, extrovert feeling is very much dominant. So these are people who are, very much want to bond in terms of their relationships. These are people who are very right brain dominant. They tend to fare well in their relation because they are warm, they're empathetic, they come from the heart, whereas the INTJ, they come from the head. So the challenge is that when they are making decisions, the INTJ having extrovert thinking as their second function focuses on logic, whereas the ESFJ having extroverted feeling as their first function, they put emphasis on their ethics and morals, and also they're really thinking about group harmony. So again, they will have a challenge because they're not looking at the situation from the same lens. The other aspect has to do with the fact that they have a different relationship style. The INTJ, it is the masculine and orderly. So in other words, these are people who are looking for, in terms of a mate, someone who is effective. So to get the person gets the job done. So they're not so much concerned about how it was done as much as, okay, you were able to accomplish the task. Whereas the ESFJ, in terms of their relationship style, it is feminine and orderly. So what they want ultimately is to bond with their partners. So for them, the how, like in terms of taking into consideration a person's emotions and how it's going to affect the relationship, is very important. So they will not often agree with the INTJ's point of view when they're trying to evaluate the best course of action for a particular situation. The other aspect also is that one is an intuitive, the INTJ, and the other one is a sensor. And when it comes to personality types, people think it's only personality types, but it has to do with levels of energy. So the INTJ, being an intuitive but also an introvert, has pretty much high energy, and when they're going to interact with the ESFJ is that they're going to feel drained and they won't be able to put their finger on what's going on, because the INTJ, being very left brain dominant, they're not very much conscious of the subtle energy. Like actually people who have extrovert thinking either at their first or second function stack usually are not conscious of subtle energy, even if they're intuitives. Whereas the ESFJ, interesting enough, because they're very right brain dominant, they feel energy, but they have among the lowest energy because they are sensor judgers. So it's going to be a situation where the ESFJ will feel good with the INTJ, but the INTJ may not, and they won't be able to put their finger on what's going on here. They just won't feel sort of like energized when they're around this person for a long period of time. So the other aspect obviously is that one is an intuitive, so it has to do with the abstract future, whereas the ESFJ, it has to do with the concrete past. So the ESFJ tends to be more traditional, wants to belong in a particular community. So they're the type of people who are going to sacrifice maybe what they really want to keep group harmony and feel that they belong with a group. By contrast, the INTJ is not like that. In other words, being a thinker, they tend to be less concerned about what other people think or feel. The other aspect is that being an intuitive, they are about this abstract future. So they are about what is new, what is different. So they're not focused on the same thing. And when it comes to the themes of their lives, the INTJ, it is about knowledge and power. The ESFJ is about duty and tradition. So we can see that there will be conflict there. So for all these reasons, I would say this is a very poor match. I would not encourage it. Again, I've said because besides the fact that they are both judges, one is a thinker, the INTJ, one is a feeler, the ESFJ, one is an intuitive, the other one is a sensor, one is a thinker, very much left brain dominant, the other one is very right brain dominant, the ESFJ. In terms of their relationship style as well, what they're looking for in a mate, one is looking for someone who's a mind mate, the INTJ, the other one, the ESFJ, is actually looking for a helpmate. So I would say that this is not a good match. So let me know if you agree or disagree with this compatibility analysis by commenting below. If you like this video, if you learned something, please click on the like button. Also remember to click on the notification bell to be notified of other videos I'm going to be making. Subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.